going, everybody? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH After Show. I'm going to keep this one a little bit shorter this week. I'm actually a little bit under the weather. Don't worry, it's not corona, I just got a bit of a cold. I'm already on the mend, but I'm going to keep it shorter so that I can rest up a bit. But I couldn't skip this one because there was so much that happened. So much. So let's get into it. First off, let me start by saying that it's weeks like this where I am so grateful of how talented the cast of General Hospital is. I have always thought this. General Hospital seriously has the best actors in daytime, honestly, straight up. This week they gave us everything from comedy to drama, so let's talk about it. In terms of comedy, we got Dr. Obrecht and Scott Baldwin hiding Dr. Kirk's death from Franco, and Obrecht had to step up and take over Franco's case. Little did she know just how much it would tie into her current situation, because Franco is hearing Peter's voice in his head, and I'm sure she is curious as to what Franco is remembering. Perhaps whatever it is will be the thing that actually takes down Peter August, hopefully by his wedding. I pray this happens. Another hilarious bit was Tracy acting like a concerned friend after framing her for drunk driving. I was dying. Tracy's so hilarious. How anyone could buy into Tracy's act is beyond me, but Alexis didn't buy it for even a single second. However, she might have done herself in by refusing to take the sobriety test that Chase gave her. Bad move, Alexis. You got yourself arrested. I was a little bit surprised that Chase didn't know who Tracy Quartermain was. I mean, I know that they weren't really on at the same time, but you know, Chase spends a lot of time with Michael, or at least he did when they were friends. Speaking of that, how low was it when Michael kicked Chase in the dick? That was so mean. That shit hurts. But Chase being Chase was like, so are we good then? And Michael's like, well, it's a start. Honestly, Michael and Chase have more chemistry than Willow and Michael, I'm not gonna lie. If these were two gay characters, I would ship them hard. But I will settle for the bromance. Michael should just go back to Sasha before she gets herself killed. She tried to play Cyrus again, but Brando shut her down instantly by telling him exactly what she was up to. I know Brando has to look good in front of Cyrus, but really, she practically was giving you an easy out, dude. At least Sasha still has her job intact. The only thing is she has to take random drug tests, which I think is a fair trade. The only thing I'm worried about is that I think Cyrus is still going to come after Sasha and kill her and make it look like a drug overdose. Hopefully because of Maxie and Lucy's new contract clause that they'll kind of get the wheels turning in their brains and think this is foul play, because Sasha wouldn't do that. The best outcome would be that she doesn't die, but I'm still not sold on that, to be honest. Oh, by the way, I should mention that Ryan Chamberlain briefly woke up to go into an even thicker coma, and we got some really good scenes of Ava telling him to rot. We also got some good scenes of Britt calling out Nicholas and saying, I knew that you would fall for Ava. It was such great scenes. Honestly, I really love the writing for Britt this time around. She's flawed, but she's just so darn likable lately. Okay, now let's get into the drama, because boy, was there a lot of it. Let's start with our boy, Julian Jerome. I swear to God, this was the most milked character exit that there's ever been besides Mike. This was probably the second most. It took so long to get to his death. Let's talk about how much entertainment there was before we got there, though. First of all, when Sonny caught up to Julian, one of Cyrus's men actually shot Julian, and Julian managed to slip away in all of the chaos. He ended up going to a bus terminal where he was going to run away to Montreal, but then he starts to hallucinate, and Duke actually returned. Ian Buchanan reprised the role as Duke to mock Julian. And then Megan Ward shows up as Kate Howard / Connie Falconeri to mock him some more. Honestly, I know that she wasn't the one that played Connie when Connie died, when Ava killed her, but I loved Megan Ward. She was my Kate / Connie, so I was really glad to see her personally. And then furthermore, an Alexis hallucination joined them to mock him as well. I lived for those scenes. They were so good. Not long after that, Sonny and Jason caught up with him at the bus station, and then one of Cyrus's men came again and tried to shoot at all three of them. Julian escaped, Sonny went after him, and Jason had to clean up the mess. Thankfully, Diane showed up to help him. Eventually, Sonny and Julian met up at a bridge. Why is there always a bridge, and why does it always look the same no matter what town they're in? Anyway, there was a bit of a struggle, and Sonny ended up shooting Julian. Julian fell into the construction side of the bridge, and then Sonny went down to check if he was dead, and ding dong, Julian was dead. Jason catches up to them just in time to see Sonny and Julian fall off of the constructive area. I guess Julian had one last lap before he actually went away. Okay, now let's talk about, bar none, my favorite scenes of this week. I kid you not, I was just captivated the whole time. It is when Laura finds out that Martin and Cyrus are her half biological brothers. So Laura and Curtis go undercover at the facility in Vermont to try and track down Florence Gray. Laura acts as an irresponsive patient in a chair, which brought me right back to the days where we would always see a wig on a broomstick in the back of Laura's head, back when the character was no longer on the show, but they still kind of needed to talk to her. Those were some weird days. Anyway, Laura managed to find Florence Gray in her room. She was sleeping, but then Martin walks in, so Laura went to quickly hide in the bathroom. Laura listens in on Martin's sweet words to his mother, and when he's going to go to the washroom to get a cup of water, out pops Laura like absolutely everything is fine. I was dying. That was just so funny. Eventually, Laura tells him that Gordon Gray is also her father and that they are biological siblings. He's not surprised that he has an extra sibling out there. He's just surprised that the mayor of Port Charles is his sister. She asks Martin what Cyrus's connection is to Florence, and then in walks Cyrus himself to announce that he is also her son. Laura's horrific reaction was priceless. And then we get this brilliant scene.
Old Cyrus fell in with the wrong crowd in Shreveport. Oh, they're real stable of winners. Truants and petty thieves and druggies.
They're people who accepted
Got
me?
suspended from school so many times. Daddy had enough. Tried to take away his car keys, and that was it. You lost your mind that day.
I was a teenager, for God's sake.
Slammed out of the house, jumped in the front seat, fired up the ignition. Daddy stepped around the
He came out of nowhere.
Cyrus hit the accelerator.
I didn't do it on purpose. Everything happened so fast. Dad was yelling, Mom was screaming. I just wanted to get out of there.
Watching this scene, I was absolutely captivated. These were actors bringing their A game to the show, and I just could have watched them for a whole hour just non-stop. Now, I've always heard that Michael E. Knight is a good actor from his previous soaps. I've never seen it on this show because they really don't give him any meat. But boy, when they give him meat, he eats the whole damn meal. He was so good, and now I have no doubt how talented that actor is. And of course, Jeff Kober is a seasoned actor, so I didn't have any doubts as to his talent. But this is the first time that we got to see Cyrus actually be emotional and raw and vulnerable. Not that that makes me like Cyrus anymore, but it was great to see exactly where Cyrus came from and what his life was like, hearing his backstory. It really brings a new element to the character, knowing exactly why he is the person he is today. And then of course, Jeannie Francis, you know I love her, you know I adore her, and while she didn't get to do much in the scene, she didn't really have to. She was just reacting to every single word those two were saying. She's one of those actresses that doesn't have to say much at all to show exactly how she's feeling. The horrifying looks in her face, the fear in her eyes when she was seeing Cyrus and Martin go at it, like, she's just brilliant. She's brilliant at what she does. I could watch these three in scenes all day, and I cannot wait to see them interact more. This has to be one of the best moves the writers have ever made. The three of them in a scene together is just freaking fireworks. It's amazing. I'm loving this. I'm loving this so much. I cannot wait to see more. Okay, finally, let's talk about everyone's favorite stupid man, Taggert. As you guys know, Jordan was livid to learn that Taggert was in town and being hidden by Sunny, so she confronts him and begs him to leave town. Trina just happened to be nearby, kind of reminiscing about memories with her father, having little flashbacks. Now, honestly, I think it was a handout scene given what happens the next day, which we'll get into in a little bit. Jordan decides to talk to Trina while Taggert hides out in the bushes, and she explains to Trina that what her father did, fabricating the evidence against Cyrus, was heroic. I actually give Jordan props to actually explaining this to Trina, because just because he fabricated evidence doesn't make him a bad cop. He knew that Cyrus needed to get into prison and that the evidence that they were trying to get wasn't enough to do so, and that was the only way he could do it. She didn't own up to her own part in the cover-up, but at least Trina now thinks that her father was a hero and that, you know, she wasn't just stepping on his name after his death. Once Trina leaves, Taggert comes back out, and then one of Cyrus's men tries to kill Taggert, but Jordan got to him first. Now that they both realize that Cyrus clearly knows Taggert is alive, Jordan knows that she has to take desperate measures, and she decides to reveal Taggert to Max Scorpio. She realizes that the only way to keep Taggert safe at this point is to have him arrested and in prison where the police can protect him. Now, the next day, we see a brand new temporary recast talking to Mac, and this just so happens to be the day where Trina and Portia come face to face with Taggert. The moment of the story that we have been waiting for was ruined by a temporary recast. I cannot believe it. I don't know the logistics as to why Riel Andrews couldn't be there, but at least if they knew ahead of time that they could have just worked overtime and filmed those scenes, because why? Like, oh, I'm so mad. Thankfully, Sydney Michaela, who plays Trina, did an absolutely amazing job with the scenes. Again, These actors, I'm just so grateful. We have such a talented cast on the show. Sydney brought her A game. She rocked those scenes, and so did Portia. I mean, she went into Mama Bear mode when obviously Trina was devastated to learn that her father lied to her and kept this a secret and let her grieve. Portia was pissed off too. I loved it. The "I did this to protect you" excuse only works so far, especially when you let your family grieve for you that long. I mean, obviously Trina is happy that he's alive, but you know, there was a lot of emotional grieving and it was all for nothing. And now he'll probably have to spend the rest of his life in prison. Probably not. I'm sure this will get rectified eventually, but you know, for now, we're just going to go with that story. Anyway, that was General Hospital this week. I'm going to end this video here because my voice is slowly starting to disappear, so I should stop talking. But let me know what you guys thought of General Hospital in the comments below. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you liked this video, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you guys on Christmas Day where I will be reacting to a classic General Hospital episode. So I'll catch you guys then. Peace out.